I want to welcome you to our 2019 annual meeting. The meeting will last approximately an hour depending on questions and comments. I'd like to take just a moment and review briefly the agenda. In a moment I'll call the meeting to order. We'll have an introduction of some very special people, and I'll tell you why I feel they're special, including board of directors, ex officios, committee chairs. I will give the president's report. Marty O'Shea to my left will give the treasurer's report. Bill Clarkin, who is chair of our investment committee, will give a report on investments. Our GM, Vivian Timian, will give a report, a general manager's report. And David Lohendorf, who is president or chairman of Senior Village at SaddleBrooke, will give a report on Senior Village. We will then move into questions and comments and answers by residents. And that will be at the conclusion of the meeting. You're required to be a resident, not a renter. And we'll take those questions at the end. So moving on, I would like to recognize Shar Crossman. Shar, to my left, stand up, Shar. If you'll hold your applause to the end so we, in the essence of time, Shar Crossman is vice president of our board. Marty O'Shea, to my left, is treasurer of the board. Rini Romy is secretary of the board, and Rini is a new board member this year. Lynn Alcantara is a director. Don Aratola, director. Janet Tucker is a director. She's also new to our board this year. Paul Fox, ex officio, to my right. And Bruce Byers, ex officio of ALC. A number of you had an opportunity to engage Bruce. And moving on, I would like to recognize Bruce again as the architectural landscaping chair. Events chair, Charlotte James. Not sure Charlotte is here. She's probably busy or recuperating from last night, perhaps. Last night was a chef's table. It was the next to the last in the series, a winter series of this year, and if you haven't participated in that, you've missed some very good food. Finance Committee represented by Dale Lehman, co-chair, and David Calkins. I know David was here. Not sure that Dale was here. Bill Clarkin, in addition to being the chair of finance, is also chairing the golf committee. Ad hoc governing documents review committee is John Pavlak. I don't know whether John is here or not. At sometime during the course of last year, I felt that it was necessary that we begin to take a look at our governing documents. Our governing documents include the CC&Rs. It includes the Articles of Incorporation, bylaws, and we've been operating with the same ones for about 20-something years, and it's time that we brush them off a little bit, take a look at them, and make sure that we're consistent with the governing documents, and to decide what changes need to be made. As we go down that road, the board will review the documents as they are recommended by the ad hoc committee, and then you as residents will have an opportunity to review those documents, and if they're passed, it will require a 2/3 or supermajority of the residents. So you'll be involved in that process. When that process will end, I'm not sure. It depends on how long it takes the ad hoc committee to get to that point. At the same time, we will be looking at, on our side, the reciprocal use agreement with HOA 2. And they will do the same, and at some point we'll get together and negotiate an agreement going forward as far as our reciprocal use of facilities between the HOAs. House Committee, Sandy Morse. Sandy is up here in the front. 401k Investment Committee, chairing it is Vivian Timian, to my left. Long Range Planning Committee is chaired for the first time by Mark Randall. Is Mark here? I don't see him. Properties and Roads chair is Jack Bowers. The chair of the Compliance and Covenants is John Alton. Dan Rhodes is chairing our Safety and Rec. This is his first time through. Joanne Allison is chairing what was the committee and then a commission. Now it's a commission again, vice versa, and she chairs SEEK. The Tennis Committee is chaired by Linda Depew, and Dan Salicki is chair of our unit reps. I said in the beginning that these are very special people, and the reason I say they're very special people is they're all volunteers. They all are giving of their time and talents to make this a better place to live and to try to make it comfortable for all of us and a place we can be proud of. They get no compensation. They don't get any benefits of any kind other than the satisfaction that they gave back to their community. And I, for one, really appreciate that. There's a number of you sitting in the audience that have been in positions like this also. So I want to thank you and make sure that you feel that you're a part of this whole process. And I appreciate those people that are willing to work within the system itself and not be a rogue and marching to the beat of a different drummer. I really appreciate that, and it makes our board responsibilities and board duties a lot easier than it would be otherwise. I'd like to, you can move it now. Yeah. I'd like to review just for a moment our vision statement, and this has been our vision statement for a number of years, and it says to be the active adult community of choice in Arizona. Move it in. And our mission statement is to provide active adults with a community that enriches their lives with updated amenities, clear and transparent governance, timely responses to residents, fiscal responsibility, protection and enhancement of property value, and a strong sense of community. That was adopted quite a few years ago, and we're still operating under that mission statement. Each year, the Board of Directors puts together goals that we would like to accomplish during the year. We did that a year ago, and we published at that time during the annual meeting the 2018 board goals. And I'd like to review those and sort of give us a grade or where we went on a number of these. And at the conclusion of this portion of the program, I'll present the goals for 2019. A number of those goals are replications of the goals that we had for 2018. But that's because we are still working on those areas, or we feel that it is necessary that we go ahead and put that on the goal. So the first goal that we identified last year was to minimize any increase in the community service fee while properly maintaining amenities and resident services. We went for a period of about 7 or 8 years when we had no increase in the community service fee. We passed along to the residents a $50 increase total for the whole year, increase in our community service fee. The principal motivation for doing that or passing along that increase was the new laws concerning minimum wage. It impacted food and beverage, it impacted our golfing operations, and it impacted the golf shop personnel that work there, our rangers or our starters on the golf course. It impacted them. We're not through with that either. What I mean by that is we're not through with not passing along, but completing the voter recommendation or the voter mandate of increases in minimum wage. And I believe, am I correct, there's another $1 increase next year? For $12. So what we do this year with the preparation of the budget, we don't know yet. That process will begin soon. It will culminate in October when residents have an opportunity to listen to the budget hearings. That's sometime the first part of October. We'll notify the residents of that, but I think we have held the rein as well as we could without increases in the community service fee. So I'm pleased with that, and I've marked that as completed for this year. Continue to maintain sufficient capital improvement and replacement reserves, and I believe we're on target for that. Some people think we have too many reserves. Other people think we need, we don't have enough. So that's good. That's compromise. And I feel that we have appropriate reserves in the circumstances, and we continue to try to maintain those. Obviously, a portion of the community service fee as well as the fees for transferring homes between one owner and another go into our reserves. That's a portion of that, and of course that's after we have funded the operations of our HOA in the first place. Seek mutually beneficial partnerships with HOA 2. When I became president of the HOA a year ago, my goal was to develop a relationship with HOA 2, and unfortunately there were obstacles that precluded that from occurring. and it didn't happen. We tried, it simply didn't happen. We set off this year to try to accomplish that anew or again. We ended up with some new board members. They ended up with some new board members. HOA 2 has five board member board. We have 7. At the beginning of the year, they reached out to us, thankfully, and asked if we would be willing to sit down and see if we could identify those areas that we could collaborate together. And I was grateful for that. I'm glad it occurred. We have had now 2 meetings, and they're not public meetings. They're meetings that between 2 of our directors and 2 of their directors. And we sit down, and the first thing is just trying to develop a relationship with one another, a feeling of trust between each other. Again, we've had 2 meetings. We're having another meeting on June the 26th. It's moving along very well. We've identified quite a few areas where we feel that we can collaborate. Our committees are working together. We haven't combined the committees or anything like that, but we have committees that they have chairs and co-chairs that come over and sit in on our meetings, and we do the same. And it's an effort to try to work not only from the top down, but from the bottom up as far as working together. And I think that's going well. I look forward to it continuing as we move through the months. Continue to improve the internal and external website. Unfortunately, our webmaster had died suddenly, and as a result, we sort of hit the skids for a while in getting our getting a new webmaster. We have a new webmaster now, and he's filming this as we speak. But we're off and running, having a new webmaster, and we look forward to continuing to have a good website, and we hope to improve it beyond where it is at this point. Continue enhancing common areas to improve the overall appearance. That's in progress, and we moved that to 2019 also. I'm not sure you ever get through with that, because just when you finish one project, another one pops up. But we're committed to maintaining our amenities, our common areas, to make them look attractive within the bounds of our budget. And I feel like we're accomplishing that. Complete the facilities master plan. Don Aratola, who is a member of our board, spent how many hours?
4 months.
4 months. I don't know how many hours those 4 months are, but he spent about 4 months developing a facilities master plan. And we can't thank you enough for that, Don. It's going to be significantly helpful as we move forward through the months and years to follow. So that's completed. Begin implementation of long-range planning committee's report to an actionable plan. That's in progress and also moved to 2019. As you know, we are still looking into the possibility of building another structure, if you will. The exact location and dimensions and all of that are still being discussed. We're discussing with the county our need for additional parking if we put in additional facilities, and that would include fitness center floor, exercise floors, perhaps meeting rooms and the like. We are still working on that, and we hope that we can continue to move forward, but it's all, not all, but a good portion of it is predicated on our ability to work with the county and get sufficient parking that meets their guidelines as we move forward. Maintain an ongoing focus on safety for all SaddleBrooke residents. I believe that we are doing that. Our patrol does an excellent job of helping us keep our residents safe. But again, that's an area that's in progress, and we also moved that to 2019. Okay. Update the SaddleBrooke 1 ALC guidelines. We had anticipated that we would look at a first cut of that today, actually during today's board meeting. But the ALC pulled it back and felt that there were some other areas that they wanted to incorporate or to change or to modify in the current ALC. So that's back on the drawing board with the ALC. They will be working on that. And in fact, at this afternoon's meeting, Bruce will be giving a report from ALC, and included in that report is perhaps some discussions between ALC of HOA 1 and ALC of HOA 2, with maybe working together on making the color palette consistent one community to the other. Right now it's different. And I don't know about you, but when I'm traveling around SaddleBrooke, sometimes I can't tell you whether I'm in SaddleBrooke 1 or SaddleBrooke 2. But we'll begin, the board will discuss that today, and we'll decide whether we would like to see our ALC move forward together with the other ALC to see if we can come to a common agreement on a color palette for the painting of our homes. Update SaddleBrooke 1 governing documents. I spoke to that earlier. John Pavlak is chairing that. It's been going for about a year. And it's a long drawn-out process. It's something that you don't just take one look at it. We've got a few very talented people that have been lifelong residents of our community that are working on that together, and that will be coming to the board at the appropriate time, probably a document at a time, and we'll begin looking at it, and ultimately we hope to go to the residents for a vote and for comment. Continue seeking a long-term solution to the need for pickleball court expansion. That has been suspended. We suspended it when SaddleBrooke 2 authorized the SaddleBrooke Pickleball Association to move forward with the building of 8 additional pickleball courts at Bobcat Canyon. We're not involved in that. The property is not ours. We're not supporting it. So that has been suspended. Moving forward, again, you're going to see some replications of the 2018 goals into 2019, but I'd like to review them with you anyway. Minimizing the increased community service fee while adequately maintaining amenities and resident services. I believe we can accomplish that. I can't make a commitment at this point as to what, if any, increase there might be for community service fees next year. We'll be going through, we'll be giving the management some budget guidance early on, and that will then culminate in the finalization of the budget for next year. And as soon as we have that information, obviously you'll be notified of it. Continue to maintain sufficient capital improvement and replacement reserves. I see no reason that we can't continue that. We have the resources to be able to put money away so that we are sure that if we have replacements that are needed or necessary, then we have the money to be able to do it. Seek mutually beneficial partnerships with HOA 2. Again, that's a continuing project, and I've spoken to that earlier. Continue to improve the internal and external website. Again, that is an ongoing project. Continue enhancing common areas to improve the overall appearance, and that's going to be moving forward also. Begin implementation of long-range planning committee's report to an actionable plan. That's one of the goals for 19. And maintain an ongoing focus on safety and security for all residents of SaddleBrooke. And I believe there's one more. Thank you. Continue to update SaddleBrooke 1 ALC guidelines and continue to update SaddleBrooke 1 governing documents. So those are the goals in a nutshell for the board for 2019. And moving forward, I believe the next on the agenda is our report from the Treasurer, Marty O'Shea. Marty.
Thank you, Chris. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, SaddleBrooke 1 had another strong financial year for 2018. Today, I'm going to